So I talked about this lump in the carpet. As you can see, I've taken everything out, ready for doing the wiring and so on. It should be all okay in there, but they have to get to the back and the front and so on and so forth. Anyway, so what I've done here is, this is the hole. Now this is where on the Moss box there would have been a solenoid for the overdrive unit, and it came with a unit like that. Obviously it's circular because it has to go around the solenoid body, but that's obviously in the way now. So I made a new plate, which is this one, and that'll go on there like that. But obviously I need to put some heat on it. So this is a silent coat, and as you can see it's pretty much all over the place. So I'm going to put that on now. I've drilled the holes, I've checked it, I've put the bolts in to make sure it works right. I'll put this on, puncture these holes, and I'll put it in place, and then we'll save this one with the gearbox, I suppose. So in case somebody ever wants to put it back to the original Moss box, which I can't see any point in it, but you never know, long after I'm brown bread. Anyway, I'll put it in and show you what it looks like when it's done. So there you are, that's the plate on it. Might be quite hard to distinguish if I put the light on, maybe. There we go. Oh, you can see the plate there. So I'm going to turn that out. Yeah, it's very hard. There it is, there on the edge. That should do the job nicely. Which is a big difference from that one. It's quite sticking out quite a way. But as I say, I'll keep this and keep it with a box, and somebody needs it, it's always there. Okay, I've also changed that gear stick around there. So it should be forward, but I've put a little, it's got a castellated nut and a bit for a split pin, so I put that in. So yeah, another job done. So hopefully I'll get here tonight, late-ish, I think around 10ish. Start tomorrow morning and getting all this engine cables buttoned up, and the back, the LEDs and so on and so forth. And hopefully by tomorrow night we should be done, with a bit of luck. So the electrics are all done. We've got a couple of small problems that we need to sort out, but we're pretty much there. There's the cover on now. One of the issues we've got is I have Ahmed, the guy that did all the wiring, thought this was a dynamo, which is supposed to look like a dynamo, but it in actual fact is an alternator, and they called it a dynator. Even though it's a dynamo body, it's to give it the appearance of the original dynamo that was in it. And obviously dynamos are rubbish because you need extra RPM to get power. So it's a dynamo body with an alternator inside, but it seems that it's not pushing out enough voltage, and he thinks possibly it could be one of the diodes, because we had put a regulator in, which we don't need a regulator if we've got an alternator, and I don't know how we missed it, but anyway. So that's going to go back down to Bosnia. He's going to check. He thinks one of the diodes might be shot, and he's going to check it out. The other issue we've got is the wiper motor, which goes over there in that corner. Needs some work on it. So this is the regulator we had, which we don't actually need. And this wiper motor, which is new, or it's been reconditioned, but it needs something checking on it for park. So it should be normal speed, fast, and park, and something's happening with the park on it. So apart from that, we're pretty good. All the lights are back in, they're working, they're flashing, but we need another flasher unit for a car. But as you can see, they're on now. I'll just pull this down so you can see it. Oh, it's glory. And you can see how nice that looks on the back. So they're flashing, everything's good there. Now, I've been speaking to a guy today, which I'll talk to you about in just a second, but what we can start doing now is we're starting to get all the seating, but I'm going to paint all this up. These are the wooden, these are the pieces that go under the car, and then these angled wood pieces. I think they're like wood, I think. They go underneath the runners and then the runners and so on, so that's all going to be done. So we're going to dry fit them before we put the carpet in, just to make sure they fit together correctly. It's extra work, but it's worth it. I don't want to mess the carpet up. And these aluminium pieces, I'm going to buy some aluminium tomorrow and make some new ones because they were a bit corroded. And they'll all be painted in carpet colour, so you don't actually see them. And I think you can see here in the Bernard Weihart's book exactly how they go. So that piece goes underneath the car, which stops the seat from being ripped out, obviously, and then the runners. So yeah, so that's an update on the XK, but everything works. The only thing I didn't like was, I don't know if there's just something wrong with it. Maybe I'll speak to the guy at Better Lighting Company, but the box that makes the noise, so you can see it's a bit of a mess on here, but the little box that makes the noise for the indicator, it's an awful sound. It's not a proper click or anything. It's almost like somebody stood on a cat or something. But we're not going to put it on. I've got indicators on the dashboard with 2 arrows, and it shows left and right. It indicates there on the RPM gauge, and it shows left and right on there. So yeah, I'm not going to put that repeater in. We don't need it. So I'll explain the situation with putting all the interior in. The electrics are all working now. Starts off the button beautifully. We're really good. I have a gentleman I've been speaking to in America for some time called David, same name, and he's just finished up his XK150 OTS S, the same as this one is, and he's been giving us some advice on doing the interior, and which is going to come in invaluable because we've never done the interior before. I've never done the interior in one of these. I'd never done it in an E-Type either. I mean, we can use some common sense, but it's much better if you get somebody who's already done it. And David's been through the process, and he's given us a step-by-step guide about which way we should do it. So I'm very, very thankful to him. We were now on WhatsApp, so I can talk to him or send him a message anytime. And he's going to send me a bunch of pictures of you know, where we go when we start. So we're starting at the back. He said this is the best way that he found it, and he told us all the little issues and little problems. So I'll be in contact with him, and I'm really very grateful to people that watch the videos and give their advice or from their knowledge or their experience of it. So this is now in a situation now where we're going to dry fit the seat runners, and I'll start getting them painted up to match the same colour as the seats, and then we'll get the leather bound around the base of the seat so they look nicer. So I'll just take you on to other things that we're up to at the moment. So Amir's starting to put in the underfelts now. You can see there in the footwell there. He's doing the one behind the heater. Now this is an early model, so it's got this Smith's round heater, which we've completely refurbished. It's a bit tricky to get up the back, so without pulling it out. Now these underlay, they can only be stuck in on the back bit where the seat goes here, not on the front, because you have to be able to pull it back to get to this piece here. So we're only going to glue it up to this edge here where the silver is, and then we'll see about trimming it afterwards. So I got some paints today, and you can see they are maroon, the same colour as the car. They're the under braces that go under the floor. And then you've got, these are the runners, and obviously these were the original aluminium spacers, but as you can see they're badly corroded, so I found some aluminium and made new ones. And then you've got these wooden pieces here, which we are going to paint up as well. See here where that's we took it when we took the seats apart. They were nearly falling apart. We did this, we sandblasted this, and it's been done in the grey, but we're going to redo that in this colour with the hinges, and then the rest will be done. We'll paint it first, and then we'll put the leather over the top of it. But you can see you couldn't really do that on the hinge. It would be difficult. So we're going to, fortunately, you can take the base seat out, and we just have to mask all this up to make sure we get that in the right colour. So we'll do that tomorrow, and then we'll put the bases in and see how it all sits, and then we can put the carpets down. So you can see it's all coming on. That's all that glued in now into place. You can see how nice it looks around the tunnel and the footwell. And Amir's working on these back ones here now. And but none of the floor will be glued in, because obviously we need to pull it up for getting into those jacking points. I mean, the fact that it's actually held down with bolts where the seats are is going to be good enough. And yeah, and these are the covers that go on the side. That's one side in, and Amir's going to work on the other side here tomorrow. And I'll just take you in a little bit and you can see how nice that looks. So, going to get fairly, there's going to be a lot going on this before the weekend, so I'll try and put another one up before the weekend or at the weekend, and you'll see the difference. So on that note, let's do it as usual. Stay safe, keep the faith, enjoy your hobby, and we'll hopefully catch you in the next one with a lot more done into the interior.